What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing today? We have a special guest on the channel right before the new update has, or should I say, will be dropping, and that is the community manager of Clash Mini, the game that we all love. We have Vlad here. Frame, nice to meet you on the channel. Is this the first time, or I should say it's the second time you're actually
Should be
on
the
the
second
channel?
time, yeah.
But we're going to have some questions for Vlad, and hopefully this answers some questions that you all have in the community. Vlad, welcome to the channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be back, and we should do this more often, I guess.
Yeah, around every update. All right, so the first question that I have to ask you, because when you open up Clash Mini, when you guys are going to be opening up Clash Mini like I did for the first time in the dev build, it was completely different. Can you give us a little bit of insight as to why the UI got almost completely changed?
It all starts with the idea that our artists on the team were never 100% happy the way the game turned out to be starting from the beta. And so every time we would create a new feature or we would consider a new patch, we would always think about what kind of things we can improve on the art side, but it would always be tiny bits and pieces and tiny little improvements on the overall art style of the game. But our artists, especially the artists that have been in the team for a while, those that have originally concepted the characters, the mini characters and the mini world, always wanted to do something much more drastic and much more modern, so to speak. And so this was the perfect opportunity for us to kind of do the art style and the feel of the game that we always wanted to do, actually. So in reality, this is how the game should have looked like since the beginning. We just simply didn't have enough time to put that into the game as well. And as well, to that is that we also wanted the game to be a little bit more kind of standing out away from like the regular kind of a Clash game. So in the previous version, as you know, there is a bunch of kind of like shapes and fonts and different like style that is very similar to other Clash games. But we felt that like for the year 2022, we wanted to kind of reimagine the way Clash game could look like in such a year after 10 years, over 10 years after Clash of Clans came out. So yeah, that was the vision, and this is what artists have been working on for a while now.
All right, perfect. I mean, listen, the game that we had and the game that we have now are completely different. So it is going to take, players time to adjust because as you said, before it kind of felt, a little bit like every other game, and I like, trying to reinvent the wheel, so you say, changing it up from every other Clash game. Now let's
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's simply modern, right? Like if you take a look at it, I know it is going to be controversial. There's going to be a lot of discussions. Some people may not like it, some people may like it, but ultimately this is the way that artists have intended the game to look like from the get-go. Actually, if you take a look at the very first few posts from our Instagram account and the concepts of those characters, you would probably tell that this is actually the original style of the game to begin with. So yeah.
All right, our next question is, when you open it up and you see everything, it's kind of like a robot theme. There's a whole bunch of robot skins that all kind of go together. In the future, are we going to see more of updates around a specific theme as well as almost like a skin pack with that theme?
Yes, we do want to do that. Depending on how much capacity and time we have, we may not go crazy just like this, but we do love the kind of like a new board, new environment, a new set of skins that goes with that theme. And I think the idea is for it to be kind of seasonal, right? So speaking of kind of season pass and being like a monthly, the mini pass, you could have multiple passes within the same season, and then when a season changes, the whole new scenery begins, and kind of like everything is a little bit different after you update the game. So that is the vision, right? It really just depends how long, how much time we have. But I think we are in a pretty good spot to have it consistently now moving forward. So yeah.
All right, our next question is, as you go through the game, you're going to see that the mini pass is now shorter than the season. Is this going to be the norm going forward? And why was this change implemented?
Okay, so we are fans of a monthly season pass. It is pretty simple. It simply gives people more value for the certain amount of time that they want to spend, and also we realized that having longer patches and then having a season road kind of tied to that simply didn't make a lot of sense, because sometimes you would end up with a road that lasts for 3 months and you have nothing else to do on it. So we kind of wanted to kind of separate those two things and kind of have it consistent on a consistent monthly basis, where people can kind of expect every month to get something new and some new content that they can unlock, and it kind of would feel fresh as a fresh start rather than just grinding through 90 kind of like rounds of rewards, and it kind of feeling almost the same over time, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. So yeah.
The next big change that you're going to see in the game, in my opinion, the biggest change that has been implemented in Clash Mini is going to be Gizmos. Now, I want to ask two questions here. One, how did you come to, I guess you could say, Gizmos? Because as you could see, other games, they have items and they have other things. This is kind of a unique concept. How did you come, together as a team and build out these gizmos? And the second question is, how do you think it will affect the game?
Well, originally, actually, they used to be called buildings, then we called them items. So they had multiple names. However, all of these names didn't make a lot of sense in terms of like the overall encompassing word for all of these things, because some of them look like items, some of them feel like buildings, but all of them together kind of like don't really we wanted to like use one word to explain all of these deployables, right? So actually, funny enough, I recorded mini minute in Helsinki a while ago, and I did say items in that video because at that time that was the current name of it. But yes, they started as buildings actually. So if you take a look at the expedition, we do have some elixir collectors and some a little bit of a like a uh, buildings already in those levels. So we thought, why don't we just try and have fun with more of those and have them deployable? And we did playtest quite a bit from a perspective of like what kind of resource do we use. And we kind of landed in a very simple solution with using the mini upgrade stars, which is very, very elegant, I feel like. And it kind of like doesn't add complexity on top. It just kind of unlocks more gameplay as you go down the line inside of the matches. So that was the idea, and we really wanted to have a diversity within the first 10 gizmos in the game, and I think we nailed it. I think that like the gameplay that the gizmos bring is going to be so significant that people will spend quite significant amount of time to kind of just figure out what works and what doesn't, and what combos are good and what combos aren't, because it's no longer just important to have a good deck, but also to understand how does that deck work with the offer of the gizmos that you get, right?
Yeah, I mean, in my gameplay video with the Gizmo, Mucho Puncho, and other buildings, Archer Queen is just going to get stronger just based off the fact that these have a lot of HP. It's definitely going to be interesting for a lot of players to play around with these. I think there is thousands more combinations of decks that can come out because of these, and it does give a lot more deck diversity, and especially the fact that they're almost random every match makes it so that you could use a lot of different minis and pretty much make them viable based on a gizmo that you could potentially get in a match.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to note, fun fact, is that in Duel, Gizmos are the same for both sides, so both you and your opponent have the same choices. However, in Rumble, you just get the three random gizmos from the pool that you've unlocked, and everybody gets the same kind of random choice. So that's just a little fun fact for now.
All right, so the
Okay.
last question is, we are seeing emotes now in Clash Mini, one of the most requested features from the entire community. And these emotes are kind of unique, how they look and how they are. What I want to ask you is, we do see the 1 year birthday emote coming out. Are there going to be more free, I guess you could say, emotes based around events inside of Clash Mini in the future?
Yeah, so the anniversary event is coming, obviously, and that one will yield after a certain amount of quests that you can complete. You will get the Happy Cake Day animated emote, which is going to be tied to that event. Obviously, that's a test to see how these kind of events are going to go moving forward. We did like, well, let's say an alpha test of the original Clashmas event, and anniversary now is the next one, the kind of version 2.0, so to speak, of the evolution of those events. And if those go well and people really like it, we will just do more of these kind of events in the future. I mean, obviously, the future of the game is definitely to run many more events with exclusive rewards and unique things for people to collect. So, yeah, absolutely. It does make 100% sense.
All right, thank you so much, Frame, for coming on to the channel and breaking down this new update for us. It is massive. There is so much that is changing inside of Clash Mini 1.9, as you would say. But thank you so much for coming on to the channel, and hopefully we can get you on more in the future.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much. And it was a great pleasure to work with you on the Gizmo videos and all the exclusive content that you rolled out on your channel. And yeah, hopefully people are excited as we are. And there is a day or two left before the update. So let's go.